Minnie Foxx. Now, you all know that I'm trying to get into all the sports things that are going on in the universe. The Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader only on TV. But anyway, next to me is a man about town. He is the man that the young women and young men go to feed their mind and spirits when it's all about sports. Now, what do you do when you're selected by a college or the NFL or the NBA and now you're playing ball for real? What is your mindset? Who's going to teach you what to do, what to say, how to say, where to be, where not to be? Well, Mr. RORY Edwards is here in my house. He goes by RORY T Edwards. I don't know what the T stands for, but we're going to find out today. Rory, thank you so much for coming to my studio.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Now let's start there. What the T stand for?
T stands for tremendous. No.
Tremendous.
The T stands
Ladies,
for...
write that down.
Write that down. Write that down. The T stands for Trent.
Trent?
Yes. So
Ooh.
that's my attorney name, R. Trent Edwards.
R. Trent Edwards.
Yes.
Okay, you know Terrence Trent D'Arby. I totally love all of his music. That's the only other Trent that I know.
That you know. So,
yes.
yeah.
So, hey. You know the Fox now, right?
Right. Know the Fox.
Oh, great.
You know the Trent.
Yes. So, if someone wanted to be a professional in sports, you know, because we have our middle school, high school, you got the college, and then you have professional. And you have the NFL, the NBA, we got soccer, there's handball, football, you just name all the balls.
Right.
What do people really want to do when you flip it around, and where is your mindset?
Well, I think first and foremost, they have to have a blueprint. It's just like anything you do in life. And what we're missing in most cases is the social skills that a lot of athletes don't have. Mm-hmm. And that's what I found out, and that's where I come in. You know, I was a pretty good athlete myself, had aspirations of becoming a professional basketball player. I used to always sit around under a tree in my neighborhood, and I always used to emulate one of the professional guys. I was a Knicks fan back then, and I used to always emulate one of the New York Knicks and say, that's who I want to be. But then shortly, I realized that that dream for me would not be a reality. Mm-hmm. And so from that point on, I started to help people not only to develop their skill level, but to develop their level of understanding the journey. Does that make sense?
Yes. So when you said emulate, are you talking about little things that you would say, how you would carry yourself? Are you practicing on your friends? What were you doing?
I would try to do the same moves that he would do. I would try to do the same shots, you know, so you would go and say, like you would count it down. And there's a chapter in the book that I talk about that says, you know, taking the last shot, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you shoot, and then you say that person's name. And so in your mind, you're trying to relive that particular shot in someone's.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was one of the games that I used to always play by myself when I played.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you find that football or basketball has more of a demand of what that industry feel is about, or would you say they're balanced? Which one's more of demand on the mind?
I would say if you're looking at numbers, because you know that's one of my big things. Numbers don't lie, people do, right? So for football, if you take football, every year there's 9,000 eligible players coming out of college, right? So there's only 355 draft spaces. And maybe 100, 150 may get called to camp. So that's 500 people who may get called to camp, right? That means there's 8,500 disappointments every year. And so the demand is that you have to really, you know, be looked at. People have to really know that you're a special player. And a lot of times we look at players and we're saying, wow, he's a phenomenal player. But he doesn't understand the business. See, in middle school, high school, and college, it's a game. At the professional ranks, it's a business. And most of our young people don't understand the business of sports. They think it's still a game.
Right.
And so they treat it as a game, and then the game reverses the curse, and then they're disappointed, and they're sitting around wondering what happened.
So you would say that the mentality has to be right.
Absolutely.
To be able to focus in on what really happened. You went from 17 years old as a high school graduate, all of a sudden you're in college and the pros are looking at you. And that feeling and that pressure is totally different.
And it's also who you surround yourself with. You know, most cases we have people around us who don't even understand the journey. They're just around us because they understand the outcome. And so the outcome is much different than the journey. Because what we look at is the money. What we see is a person playing football, basketball, baseball, soccer, all of the above is the bottom line, which is the dollars that they make in that sport.
Okay.
Now, the dollars are well earned, but you also work for those dollars. So you don't do like high school. You don't have one practice. You have morning practice, then you have film. You have evening practice, then you have film. Then you have, you know, certain things that go on, your meal plan. You have so many things that your day is consumed on a much larger scale than most people even understand.
Now, surpass that when you're looking at the film. Is that film for them to look at what they did so they can be better? Because like with me, we're filming right now, right? Hello world, we're filming. This is RORY T. Edwards. We're having a good time on the couch. I like to joke around and play. But on the serious side, I actually go back and I look at all of my interviews and I study me. I study if I'm sitting right, if my hair was in place. I even look to see if my eyelashes were crooked or if both eyebrows were even. And you know, I kind of look at me so I can see what it is I can do to make what I saw better. But I also study the interviews that I've done and those people that I'm interviewing. Like you, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at you and see if your collar was right and if what was something I could do to have made it better. You know, because you're going to come back on my show another time and we're going to cover some other subjects. But I study. Is that what the filming is for these basketball, football, soccer, tennis players, golf players to study?
It's to study what they've done and how they can improve, but also it's the game film for the next opponent. So they're learning what the other opponents are doing. They're setting up their strategic plans on how they execute different plays, where there's a weakness, where can they get the most bang out of their executions. And so it's for many purposes. But that's what the thing they have to do. They have to understand the game. Right? You have to understand the game to really be proficient at the game.
So in the game, let's talk about boxing for instance. When Mayweather's getting ready to box Pacquiao, they're going to have a challenge for the championship. So Mayweather studies Pacquiao, Pacquiao studies Mayweather. So they're studying each other's fights, their clips, so they can see, you know, how he did the rope-a-dope or how he bobbed and weaved or what have you. Yeah, I know a few boxing words. I do.
You know a few.
You know, Mayweather, me and you. I always say that when the sports comes up. Mayweather, me and you.
All right, you gotta get Floyd on the show.
That's right, I do. I've been calling it out. He hasn't responded yet.
Maybe he will this time. Maybe we'll put it in the universe and tell him.
Mayweather, once again, it's me and you because
Mayweather, come see her.
Yeah, you tell him.
Come see her, because you know, I got people in Grand Rapids, so we might know the same people. So good people know good people. All right.
What happened was that my son, his prom, was the same night that Mayweather and Pacquiao had their championship fight. And the kids all over Henderson could not go anywhere to have fun and go party anywhere remotely near the strip because when a fight is in town, the whole strip turns upside down.
Especially with
the element and all the people that come. So the kids can't go down there, you know. And so I have challenged Mayweather to contact me and throw a party for all the kids the year of Pacquiao's fight with him for the prom because the kids had to go to the Olive Garden. Now we love the Olive Garden. The food is really good. I happen to like the breadsticks and everything, the pasta. Don't get me wrong, but that's where they went on prom night because they had nowhere else to go. We couldn't even get in a limo. We rented an SUV.
That's Floyd.
Oh my God! And you know the heartbreak of a mother. Because we're talking about kids, and let me tell you, the heartbreak of a mother is to get your kid to high school for the prom and the homecoming, and you can't rent a limo, and you got the tuxedo and the flowers, and the girl got the pretty little dress and all that. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mayweather? Okay, let me leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Yes, but Roy said it. You need to reach out to him.
Reach out to us.
It's all in love. So with that being said, I want to talk about the fact that our young people having mentors like yourself. What if, and just as an example, and we just saying, don't take this to heart, what if you met a young man and his whole element was that he understood what to do and how to do, and he was great at it. And he was one of your students, and he was great at doing what you requested or what you advised, and the knowledge that you gave him. But what if his circle and his world wasn't right? Because you mentioned you got to have a good circle.
Correct.
But what if he came from a one-parent home, or grandmother was raising him, or the other things of life that's around that kid? How do you get through to a child like that, or a young person like that that's playing?
Usually I say something very simple. Everybody who's with you is not made to go with you. So even though there's only, I talked about something on Facebook the other day, and I talked about the most powerful numbers too. Now there's two things in most of our lives. We make things, humans make things very difficult. And so two, why I say that is because there's only two choices in life that you have no control over. As humans, we have no control over. And one is who your parents and your siblings are. And two, your day of death. Everything else in life we have a choice over. We have a choice. So the thing is that the choice may, if I'm talking about the choice to you, it may seem uncomfortable for you because you understand and this is all you know, and you say, well, he's been with me my entire life. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Now LeBron James has guys he grew up with as his team of individuals. Okay. But what LeBron requested of these young men is that they all, whatever area they wanted to be an expert in, that they go and get the most knowledge they possibly could so they can help run his business. Now his empire is incredible. I mean, if you look at the things, honestly, that LeBron James is doing, and I'm not saying that other people don't have this knowledge, but when you see other players around, they usually have an entourage of people that's taking care of, that they're taking care of.
Right.
And in most cases, in LeBron's case, is that his people take care of themselves and also help build his empire.
LeBron, that is amazing. And you know, I'm going to throw it out there for you to come on my show too. It's not just about the world of the ones that I can totally reach. It's about the ones that I'm trying to reach. And that is an amazing story because many of our young people, when they go from high school into the college years and the pros are looking at them, they're so excited. They have all this money thrown at them, all of these opportunities, the careers, the girls, everything changes.
Correct.
And that young person is losing their mind unless they were grounded by the things that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
That's going to help them to stick and stay.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to find out a little more about RORY T. Edwards and why this amazing book has hit the universe for you to see and read all about it. We'll be right back after this message.
Do you dream? Dream to be all that you can be.
You name it, you claim it, dream it, see it, believe it, achieve it. You can achieve. You can achieve. Success, you see, is the drive within you to succeed.
Through hope, faith, and prayer, as it brings awareness to domestic violence, homelessness, educating our youth.
Education is the key to success. On behalf of my son, Mayor, this is really cool.
This is why I hold fast and how I maintain higher ground. And I've taught the young girls how to walk and talk and be ladies, and the young men to be strong and understanding. I've laughed and I've cried with the children. So I'm here to tell you that joy comes in the morning. The power is within. You grab hold and you maintain higher ground.
Let's give it up for Minnie Foxx.
I am a product of women, thousands of women with courage. I am a product of women, thousands of women with courage. courage, courage, courage.
I am somebody. I am somebody.
You're watching the Minnie Foxx Show. I'm RORY T. Edwards. Make sure you stay close to the Minnie Foxx Show. One thing that I always talk about, you can't withdraw what you did not deposit. You can reach me at www.rorytedwards.com. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Don't forget you can pick up my book also, So You Want to Be a Professional Athlete. www.rorytedwards.com. Stay connected with Minnie Foxx. So, with the book, one of the things that I sort of did with the book was, even though it's about athletics, it really has 10 principles that are transformable. Let's cut that.
He said cut. Don't he know that this is live? It's the Minnie Foxx Show. I don't cut nothing out unless it was something I did wrong. This is in here. I'm sorry. You just start. I'm gonna keep that in there too.
Please do. It shows the other
Okay,
side.
so tell me about a special moment and why your book is so important to you.
Well, because when I wrote the book, even though it has the athletic format, it's really also about 10 principles that you can also utilize in life.
Okay.
And so when athletes get to the professional ranks, most of them think that's the culminating phase of their life. And so they think that life is going to continue for the remainder of their life. So that's why like 78% of them end up in some financial hardship after their league days of playing are over.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I did in this, there's a particular story that I want to share about that book, is that when I was about 14 years old, I really thought I was the best basketball player ever. I really did. I mean, I wasn't bad, but you know, I knew a lot of people out there who were better. But you heard Rucker Park before,
yes.
right? Okay, so we went to New York, and we got on the train, went to New York, and we got off the train, went to the park, and about 10 minutes in, this brother about 20 years old walked up with a bottle of wine in his hand. He put the bottle of wine down, he asked for the ball, never said a word. He just asked for the ball. He commenced to hit about 30 to 35 jumpers in a row, picked up the bottle of wine, and just walked off. Nobody was in awe. Nobody said anything different. So we were shocked. I was like, did this brother just hit 30 jumpers in a row? And he picked up the bottle of wine and left. And so at that particular moment, I said, there's certain skills that the Creator gives individuals, but there's so many obstacles that can deter these people off the right track,
right,
or the track that we think they need to be on. And that the bottle of wine was more important to him than basketball would ever be. And so when I do my work with individuals, what I do is I go to the root of the problem, because in most cases, what we don't identify, and one of the things that I'm really concentrating on now, is the unforeseen trauma that athletes go through in this journey.
Yes.
And so many of us go through the trauma, and so many of us don't identify the trauma, and then it's a repeating cycle, because in most cases, when those athletes are being trained, they're being trained by someone who didn't identify their trauma. And so trauma treats trauma, which creates trauma. That's simple math. Trauma plus trauma equals trauma.
Then you got a train wreck.
Okay.
You know, speaking of that, I had one of the most heartwarming opportunities I've had in my life was working with the Special Olympics. And I worked with Mr. Johnson, thank you Mr. Johnson, many years ago for the Exceptional Children's Foundation, 3 Special Olympics in Los Angeles, and we stayed in the dorms at UCLA College. It was quite wonderful. Working with all of those young people and a few adults, they all had some special needs, but the special needs never stopped them from achieving a common goal. So autism, ADHD, high functioning Asperger's, Down syndrome, it didn't matter what their disability was, because in that moment in time, to run across that finish line, to jump those hurdles, it didn't matter. The wheelchair race, till the last person came across the line, it wasn't over. Right. And they would all stand there and applaud and congratulate each other. And even though that competition was there,
Right.
who's going to win, it wasn't the point. The point was that it was unity. And it was the most beautiful team playership I had ever seen.
Right.
You know, to be a part of. So for me, with that as well, and I know you're working with, you know, different levels of personalities with your book and your outreach, as well as mothers raising young men, the opportunities will never end for you.
Never.
And
No.
that is what's so big about what you're doing,
Right.
is that it will never end. There will always be another chapter and another chapter, another chapter. And then I have to write a story for you on the mini series.
Yeah, okay.
You get it? Not M-I-N-N-I-E, mini series? Yes. I'm going to write a
Mini-series.
story about you, and then you can, you know, do all your things. I'm going to follow you. Is that okay?
That's wonderful. That's
Okay.
absolutely wonderful.
Well, it has been a pleasure
Absolutely.
to have you on my show.
All right.
And oh yeah, you guys kind of do this little thing.
I don't do all that. All
And
that.
then
All
it's
that.
this.
I don't know
And
about all
then-
that.
and you know,
I don't do all that.
so
All that's not
I kind of
necessary.
learned all of that stuff in the.
That's that hood stuff,
in the,
right?
I wouldn't call it hood.
What is it?
I think because I've seen different nationalities and personalities and race do that, and everybody does it different,
Right.
and it's just so cool sometimes to see someone of another race meet someone of another race,
Right.
and they're trying to figure it out, and they're helping each other,
right.
and they're just laughing and giggling because maybe you didn't slap the five right.
Yeah.
You know, I high-fived you, and you
Right,
kind of
right.
did like,
All this,
you know,
right.
yeah. But the cool thing about it was that the unity of it, they were trying to figure it out together.
Okay.
And that's what we're talking about today.
Let me just share something with you real quick.
Okay.
Why not do the unity shake of money? What's
Well,
that one? Just straight up shake it.
shake it, shake it.
Shake up. That's right. We do it. Then we bring it in. Whatever we got to do. That's the universal shake of money, right? When you shake like that, I know you got money. That's what it is.
Okay.
All
But
the
see, my
dapping
money
and stuff.
shake not like that. See how you got my hand?
I got your
We
hand.
want to be real on it. Let me show you. Let's scoot over here a little bit. This is the money shake straight out,
That's
baby.
your straight out.
Yes,
With all
and
your
I teach
blings
my
on?
kids how to shake hands
With all
like
your
this.
blings
Nice
on?
front. Bling is always there.
I know that, right?
Bling is always there.
We're gonna change your
Y'all
name to
know me
Minnie
for
Blade.
that.
We're gonna change your name to Minnie Blade. Minnie Blade.
By the way, speaking of money,
Yes.
I happen to have a lady friend named Dr. Money.
Yes.
She's amazing.
I heard.
Oh, she's amazing.
Word on the street, huh?
So yeah, I gotta connect the two of y'all and
Okay.
see what she thinks of that money
Absolutely.
handshake. How about that?
Sounds
But that's been our show for the day. We are having fun chopping it up with RTE, that stands for RORY T. Edwards. He's doing product placement. Y'all know I charge for the product placement stuff when I hold your book, when I'm holding your cup and all of that, but it's all good. Check us out and let us know what you're thinking. Now, I'm gonna leave you with this comment. You mentioned hope, raising hope. And I lovingly always say that hope, faith, prayer, wrapped in patience is your power within. And you cannot exist without those friends in your life. Check yourself from the inside out and feel good. Share your unity with someone today. Thank you.
Yep.
RTE.